Hey there, welcome back to IST, and with me today I have this box. What's in this box? Well, in this box is Raspberry Pi. No, not an actual Raspberry Pi. A Raspberry Pi is a small computer about the size of a deck of cards that can do a whole lot, especially with this model. Let's get this box open and check out what's inside. So, in this box we have a quick start guide, a power supply with some heat sinks taped to the box, a small fan, a case in the color white, the computer itself, a mouse, a micro SD card reader, a micro SD card with the OS already installed, a on-off switch, and a micro HDMI to HDMI, and finally the Raspberry Pi keyboard. We're gonna move the keyboard and the mouse and the power cables away for now. We're gonna focus on the actual computer itself. Now this is the 8 GB of RAM model, and this is it right here. It's not that big, but it can do a whole lot. We'll be going over what it can actually do a little while later. I will show you one thing that it can do. We're going to turn this into an emulation machine. And an emulation machine is a machine that can play old video games. And we're going to see its performance on those. So to start off, we're going to get the case out of its box. Take it apart. Now, on the case, there's separate little notches here, and this holds the audio out, display out, and the power in. Now, you just rest it on those and slide it into place, and it slides right on. And then once you have that, you take the outer shell and you just place it on, especially where the holes are, and then there you go, it's the case. And then you place the top on top, there you go. But it's not as simple as that at this point. So we're going to use the fan because it's going to be a little bit more difficult to keep it cool if we're running video games on it. So we're going to take the fan out of this anti-static bag here. Cables and fan. Come on, there we go. We would use the heat sinks, but since we're putting it through some more, forceful, more intense tasks, we're gonna throw in the fan. Now this case is a little bit different from a Raspberry Pi 3 case. There is little notches here, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna line up the holes on the fan and just push them into the notches. There, and it just clicks in, and the cables come out here, and then once you have that, you're going to plug in the red and the black cable next to each other on the board in the little slots here. I don't know if you can see that. I don't have a cameraman with me today, so I can't zoom in properly. So there you go, and then you just push them in and plug, and then push down on the thing. And there you go. It's all complete now. So now, what we're going to do is we are going to take out the power brick, and it's all run by USB-C, which is very, very cool because USB-C is very popular now, and it's very, very simple to use, and it's very fast, and it's just better than micro USB, which is what the previous model ran on. So it's a pretty long cable, and you just plug it in right there, and it starts booting. But for now, we are going to leave all this, and we're going to go to my PC. I'll see you over there. Alright, now that we're in Google Chrome, what we're going to do is we're going to look up RetroPie. Go to this website right here. Scroll down. Never mind. Go to downloads. And what we're going to do is download the Raspberry Pi 4/400 versions. There we go. Wait for it to install. while that's installing, we're going to open up something called Etcher. And this will write the OS to the SD card so that when we boot up the Raspberry, it'll load up as if nothing is wrong. Or not as if nothing is wrong, as if it was there in the first place. Just give it a few. Any second now. I'm going to edit this out anyway. Alright, so now that it's downloaded, we're going to go into Etcher. We're going to click Flash from File. We're going to go into Downloads. Click the RetroPie here. It's right here. We're going to click Select Target. The SD card, my 8GB SD card. Click Select, and then click Flash. And it should flash everything over. And it's going to ask me to make some changes. Yes. Now that it's doing that, it's going to take a little bit, so I'll speed it up or skip ahead. Alright, so now that our flash is complete, we're going to exit out of here, go into our file manager, and we're going to right click and eject. And there we go. I will see you back at real life, where the Raspberry Pi is. Alright, so now that we got our OS loaded onto an SSD, we're going to take the Raspberry Pi here, we're going to plug it in, and everything should start up as normal. Yeah, and I would find a better way to record this, but I don't have a capture card, so I can't record it like a video. I did not plug in the fan correctly, and I kind of called that. So now it's loading up. And see, RetroPie. So zoom in. Okay, so now once this is done, it'll load up, and then we have to insert a flash drive to insert ROMs, which are files that run games, and then we can check to see how it works. Okay, so there we go. We have Emulation Station, which is an emulator, group of emulators that we have that we can insert. Let me just adjust the camera here. Sorry about that. Okay, so now it says welcome, no gamepads detected. So what we can do now is we can unplug it. We're gonna press and hold enter. So now we're going to go D-pad up, which is arrow, up, down, left, right, start, select. A, B, X, Y, L, R, left trigger, right trigger, and we're going to skip all this. Just press and hold to skip it. Press escape for that, and okay. Okay, so now that we're in the home screen for RetroPie, we're gonna wait, we're gonna plug in our flash drive. I'm gonna give it a couple of minutes, not even, a couple seconds. So now that RetroPie is loaded and we have our files on our flash drive, we're going to go back to my computer and we will insert some ROMs onto here. Alright. So now I have installed all the ROMs on this flash drive. We insert it into the Raspberry, and then once we do that, we click enter, go down to quit, and then restart system. Yes. And it'll shut it down and reboot it, and then it'll install everything that's going on, so it might take a little bit longer. So we just wait here. Okay, so now it's loading up all the ROMs now, and it should load up everything as if it was there in the first place. And then we'll test out the games and see how well it performs since this is the newest model. Alright, so now we're loaded up back into RetroPie, and as you can see, we have our game systems loaded into memory. Now we have a bunch of systems to test out. We have Atari 2600, we have the Sega Game Gear, we have the Nintendo Game Boy, the Nintendo Game Boy Advance, we have the Sega Mega Drive, we have the Nintendo 64, we have the Nintendo Entertainment System, and that's it, and the Sega 32X. Now we're going to start with the Nintendo Entertainment System because that's like one of the most basic systems to emulate. So we're going to start off with Super Mario Bros. Give it a second. And there we go. So seems to be running just fine. And it is. Nothing seems to be wrong here. It all just seems to be running as if it was original hardware. And then to exit, you press select and whatever you press for your little escape key thing. Okay, went out of focus. Come on, focus back up on the thing. Okay, so now we're gonna go back. No. Okay, and then we're gonna go to the Atari 2600 because that's also a very basic emulation, machine box thing. We're gonna play some Adventure real quick, and as you can see, it runs. It looks great for Atari. The colors are vibrant, and that's all we really need for Atari, which is vibrant colors. So we're gonna exit out of this. We're gonna go back. We're going to try the Game Boy now. We're going to play some Super Mario Land. A lot of these are just basic games. So if you want to play like old games that maybe your parents told you about or something, or that you play as a kid, then this is a good thing to do. You're not going to be playing stuff like Fortnite or anything that released in the past couple of years. You're not going to play anything that released in the past 20 years. But yeah, Game Boy games seem to be working just fine. Yeah, if you want to play if you want to play like games that were made in the past 20 years, then you need to go somewhere else. Maybe find a better PC to run them, or maybe just find the systems themselves. So next we're doing Game Boy Advance. We're just gonna play some Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3. Game Boy player, yep. Oh, and sorry that there's no sound. I couldn't find the speaker in time for this video. So we're gonna just, start off with the first level. Seems to be running just fine. I don't see any issues. Okay, now it's running just fine. So, in a future video, I will push this to the limits. Like, I'll download more 3D based games that were on these systems. Like, I'll do like Star Fox on the Super Nintendo, and all these 3D games on on other systems. So now for the Sega Mega Drive, also known as the Genesis, we're gonna play some Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It's been out of focus this whole time, hasn't it? Focus. Alright, so we're gonna try here. And it seems to be running just fine. Colors are vibrant, animations are smooth. Alright, so we're going to quit out of that. Alright, so now, nope, press the wrong button. Alright, so our next system we're going to do is the Game Gear. Now the Game Gear is also very simplistic. It's about close to the Game Boy. And, the Game Boy Advance actually. It was released by Sega to compete with the Game Boy, but it had no shot. So here we go, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, play, and yep, look at that, working just fine. So now that we're done with that, time to get into the fun stuff. Now, Sega 32X. Sega 32X was an add-on for the Sega Genesis that pushed it to its limits, essentially, and it pushed the system to its limits and did stuff on the system that the system hasn't done before. So, hopefully, this will work. It should. Look at that. And it's loading up just fine. So we're going to just, play a little bit of the first level just to be sure that everything's running just fine. Just no save. Yep, this is fine. Seems to be running just fine. There's a bit of a stutter, but that's okay. It's like all running with software instead of hardware, so there's going to be some obvious stuttering here and there, but that's okay. You can probably go into settings and work that out. Now it's the most fun system and the system I wanted to try, the Nintendo 64. Now this game is full 3D graphics, and I'm hoping that it works. I'm hoping that it does, but there's a chance it might not. So we're gonna go into here. Okay. All right. Seems you're running just fine. Oh, and I got the Japanese version, didn't I? Alright, so it seems you're running just fine. I'm not going to keep going because it's a long intro sequence. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little presentation. We're going to go back to the whiteboard and do an outro. Now that we're back at the whiteboard, or the desk, I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't really have anything else to say. I don't have a cameraman today, so sorry for all of the stuttering and all of this really wasn't a planned video, so I didn't really have a script. So if you're seeing this, then I edited it just fine to be watchable. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. I'll see you.